Hey guys, this is a very special episode of Pathways and Means. In addition to being a successful local restaurateur, this week's guest, Ambroja Watson, will be featured on TBS's new series, Rat in the Kitchen, premiering March 31st at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. We couldn't be more proud that Ambroja will be representing Topeka and Soulfire Foods on this whodunit cooking contest, and we encourage all of you to watch and support. Enjoy SJ's discussion with Ambroja, and don't miss Rat in the Kitchen, premiering March 31st at 8 p.m. Central on TBS. The series trailer has been linked in the description of this podcast. With that, let's get into the episode.
You're listening to Pathways and Means, a podcast that inspires and shows people how to tap into their creative spirit. We sit down with leaders and makers in every industry to talk about their process, what inspires them, and about how to build incredible things with the power of creativity. The future belongs to the creators, so come join us. This is Pathways and Means.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy SJ Hazim, and I'm back in the building, baby. You know, we always got surprises for y'all, man. We have such of a special guest for y'all today. Y'all don't even know what y'all about to experience. But I know everybody loves some good food. You know, I've been a foodie forever. You know, I'm the type of dude that'll fly to Rome just for some Roman noodles, or maybe find myself in Philly for a Philly cheesesteak or something like that. But we are going to be talking about food. So we have the lovely Ambroja Watson of Soulfire Food with us here today. How are you doing today, Ambroja?
I'm well. A little tired. We just came off of a catering job, so
okay.
But I'm excited to be here.
Why didn't I hear about this catering thing? Because I would have been there.
I will tell. It was shout out to Smuckers. Okay, shout out to Smuckers. They did an employee appreciation, and we had the opportunity to fulfill their needs, and we went and served well over 500 people. It was awesome.
Wow. Y'all got any leftovers? There's gotta be something.
They took it down to the drop for us.
Even the cheesy potatoes?
Absolutely. That was, that's always the first to go. They made it easy for us, and you know, we were just able to share some good food. And Tim and I and my mother-in-law, when we have those types of catering contracts, we want to make sure everything's in place. So we were able to keep the store staff today and went and handled that service for them. But they also made it easy for us. They spread it over the last few days. So we did different shifts over the last few days. But I thought it was really cool. They took care of their employees. They bought them lunch. They gifted them some other stuff. And so shout out to Smuckers again, you know.
Yeah, shout out to y'all Smuckers, man. Y'all doing big things out there in the jelly world.
Right. They're not just jelly anymore,
right,
though.
I see that. No, that's great.
Yeah, so that was cool. Okay.
So tell me this. What was the inspiration behind starting Soulfire Food?
The story is very very specific. I'll get into the details. For background, my husband and I both have cooked I don't want to say our whole lives, but for most of our adult lives, we've been in the kitchen some way or the other. His dad used to cater and smoke meat, so he was the one up under his dad. And I will say Brian too has a little gift for smoking meats, but my brother-in-law, shout out to him. But
shout out.
Tim's, been smoking meat since him and I met. He was in his teen years, flipping hamburgers for the church and doing things for the church.
No, I've had some of his food.
Yeah.
Always been.
Yeah. So, and then I've been in the kitchen for forever. I started cooking at about 8 and just enjoyed what my food did for people, like simple things. We didn't grow up with a lot of food in the house, but my mom actually is the one who taught me all the basics. Okay. And I have a talent per se. When I go eat, I'm very exploratory when it comes to food, and I can go and eat and replicate a dish very closely. Like if I know the basics, if I know what's in it, or I'll find out what's in it. Yeah, I'm pretty good at replicating things. So just over the years, just really had a passion for it. I was a single mom for 13 years before Tim and I got married, and I used to have to make it do what it do.
Right.
And, you know, one of the things I did, my kids were in sports, so I did fundraisers, and I sold enchiladas, Southwest chicken egg rolls, burritos. Then we had other teams coming to me like, can you cook for our team and we'll just, you know, pay you? And I'm like, okay, cool, we can do that. And that was how I really helped take care of my family at the time. And then in 2009, I made a career decision from going to school full time and working side hustles. And I worked at Cook's American Grill for a while. They're a small-owned business, family-owned business. And, you know, I really admired kind of what they were doing with their business. And but I had to make a decision. I made a career decision to go to the VA. And when I did that, I didn't finish out my passions and pursuits for schooling, and you know, I didn't really look into the professional side of culinary and going to school for that. So that kind of took a back seat. But then, once again, the need was there. A lot of people requested Southwest chicken egg rolls, which kind of put me in the game, to say. But we started cooking again on the side, and to kind of fast forward the story through, in 2019 is when we started the food truck. A year before that is when him and I discussed starting the business. Okay. And we did that with a lot of prayer. He had been working for the city for 10 years as a street maintenance heavy equipment operator. Okay. So that was his skill trade. And so, you know, we were just, it was a lot of prayer, it was a lot of discussion. I started to dibble and dabble into the personal chef stuff and started my own little personal chef business called Chalet's at the time. So Chalet's was really the preface of Soulfire. And so we were like, well, how are we going to make this work? We want to really start a business, and we want to leave something for our family. And we got I'm not going to say random, we got an on-time word from a very special family friend. And there was, he shared with us some details that no one else would have known besides Tim and myself, that we had discussed personally about starting our business. And it was just confirmation. And so we kind of went all in, and we discussed with his parents and my parents. You know, we just said, we believe that this is the right decision for our family, and we want Tim to come off his job, which means that we're going to be a one-income family. We're going to go from two, you know, career-oriented incomes to now we're going to one income. We have 3 children. 2 Timothy wasn't, we were 4 children at that time already, you know, and 3 of them were getting ready to graduate high school. So we had some decisions to make, and we just trusted God. Honestly, that is and will remain the foundation of what Soulfire is trust and believing that our brand is going to be everything that we want it to be. But we put in the work too. So when it came to the name, we didn't know what we wanted. I did not want to be boxed into barbecue. Let me say that. I did not want to be boxed into barbecue. Right. Okay. And I did not want to be boxed into what stereotypical soul food is. And I had to come to a decision of what soul food meant for me and meant for my family, and how over the years cooking certain traditional dishes really made us feel. And so we were talking about, you know, the name Soulfire, and I said, well, all your food is fire smoked. You know, he uses he's a smoker that uses only wood. Okay, he does not use charcoal or anything like that.
Yeah, I see all the wood that's always
back there. Used to be in front of my house all the time, SJ. Like, I had like the big truck and everything, the smokers in front of my house. That's the original location for Soulfire, right? And so we talked about it, and I said, you know, let's put it together, Soul Fire Food. And I was like, and plus everything we cook is so fire. And we just started really playing.
So fire.
Yes, so fire, you know.
But you put the U in the
yeah,
L.
and we really play up the word with soul, you know. Like once my father-in-law caught on, Lord, it was hilarious. He was like, now we're sold out, you know. So we have signs that say sold out.
SOULED.
And so we like to play up on that kind of stuff and just, you know, have fun with it. But, you know, our family were behind us 150% when it came to the support we received from his parents and my parents. But his parents went all in, and
it sounds like you guys definitely went into this with innovative and creative aspects to it, because, you know, so tell me, did you have as far as with that, is that kind of what comes behind the name? You just wanted to be able to have a couple different reasons behind it?
When people call us and they're disappointed sometimes when they find out we don't have the traditional greens and what they believe is soul food. Greens, you know, catfish.
Right, black eyed peas.
You know,
yams.
Y'all ain't got no cornbread. The other day we got an inbox about neck bones, and I'm like, I get it, yeah. But to us, really, the creativity piece is really what, you know, when we eat as a family, when we come together, a lot of important decisions are made over food and breaking bread. And when we come together as a family, for us, it was just like we put our heart and soul into the food, like, and it really can.
And your foot.
And our foot sometimes, right? And it can really set the mood of the conversation. And when that food is good, and I mean, how angry can you be?
I'm always happier
when you're eating, you know, really good food and food that makes you just think about, oh, that made me think about, you know, barbecue back when I was 17, and it was, you know, we did this and it was the best. But we really, I mean, when we came together, my parents were like, that is a great name. You know, and I was like, thanks. And I was like, and I got the logo too. I mean, I saw the vision. The vision was there. And I didn't want to box ourselves in. So I don't mind explaining what Soul Fire Food is. It's food that makes you feel good. It makes you remember stuff. It makes you remember those moments, you know, back at home at the family reunion or whatever else. It makes you think of grandmama, you know. It warms you up, you know. And now we have a couple tables in the restaurant, and even before I came today, a gentleman was eating at one of the tables, and my brother-in-law and I were having a debate about what type of chicken do we like and different things, and this guy's like cracking up, and he's over there like, well, I like, you know, this and I like that. And it's just so funny how food can start the conversations of so many different things, and it just evolves into so many different perspectives. And
I mean, it's how people set up meetings and set up everything around that. So let me ask you this, because you said 2019.
Yes.
And you know what happened in 2020.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the pandemic changed
crazy.
Everything for value creators everywhere. Now, how did that affect some of the decisions and things, or even the pivots that you may have had to make because of that?
I feel like we were in some ways at an advantage because we started at the cusp of the pandemic. So we didn't have to go and make a bunch of adjustments. It was like, okay, this is how we start, and now we have to kind of tweak it a little bit, but we're still at the starting stages. So when we started November 2019, with just the truck, right? We went through, the pandemic really hit us around March 2020?
Yeah, it was right.
That's when
they
started to shut things down. Schools were getting canceled. Restaurants, there was a bunch of question about restaurants. One of the challenges starting a food truck is you don't know what you don't know. Luckily, there were a few people that we could reach out to and ask questions about, and that's always great. But then a lot of it is just failing forward and cleaning it up like instantly. There were so many things we changed after the first 2 days of our opening. We've changed our menu a few times. We've taken things off the menu that would not serve the customer the best. I mean, there's so many different things, right? So with the pandemic, we instantly went into masks 6 feet apart. We made those accommodations for the customers. We, despite debates about vaccinations and things of that nature, we made a decision. We made the decisions for our family, and some of our family got vaccinated and some of our family didn't get vaccinated. But what we did is we respected not just the community piece of it, but we really wanted to make things safe and make people feel safe regardless of their perspective, right? Because, I mean, it's a food truck. We weren't that close to people. There's 2 or 3 people within the food truck. It's all family. It's all in-house. People who are dealing with each other every single day. We didn't play with any type of sickness, any type of symptoms or anything. I mean, it was a scary thing to go into, and as a startup business, we knocked it out the park. Like, we decided one of the best things we could do was get the buzzers.
Oh yeah, those was
buzzers.
Those was dope.
Because the buzzers for us, literally, we were hand sanitizing. We were just like, put them in this basket. We got it. Sanitize them so the next person, felt safe. And so it really worked in our favor to be able to continue to serve food when other people were not able to continue to serve food. We were able to offer something in different locations at different times, and we were able to customize it to our needs as far as our family. We only opened certain days of the week, and we were only open at certain times. And the other thing is consistency, right? Consistency.
That seems to be the
is thing. Once we knew what worked, we wrote the process down. The recipes, everything is you can duplicate it at this point. My goal is to open a franchise. That's my goal. I want this to be a brand. I want to be the Soulfire food, like the scooters equivalent. You know how fast they put the scooters up and they're like the little buildings, right?
You blink, you'll
I
miss it.
want to blink and see, is that a Soulfire over there? I can get soul fries? Yes,
All the fries you can give me.
The soul fries are so fun too, but yeah. So yeah, the pandemic, again, with the scariness of it and with the unknowns, we were able to be as more flexible than restaurants who already have established processes. Restaurants who had to shut down completely and had to go completely takeout. We're a food truck. It's takeout. We're not, entertaining anyone. So it worked out great, and we got Best of Topeka our first year, right? And then we turned around our second year and got it again for food trucks, which was like mind-blowing for us because we were still in the newness of it.
Right.
2019 was 3 years ago?
Yeah.
It feels like last year still to us.
Yeah.
We used to talk about, let's do a grand opening. When? Well, let's do it. No, we have to cancel, or no, we can't do it here because we have to do this. One thing we've done is put our customers first. And we've given ourselves some realistic goals as a business, to be flexible with our creativity, again, on what we do and what we offer. So one of my greatest strengths, it's also a vice, is that I'm a visionary. And I can see stuff and be like, oh, this is gonna be great, right? But people who have great visions all the time don't have a lot of good follow through, because they have so many things they wanna dibble and dabble in. So I've learned how to pull back because with the food truck, there's so many different possibilities. I'm like, I want to sell the spices. I want to sell this. I want to do that. I make bacon jam. I make all kinds of different things. I want to do it all. But smart business is better than just fast business and trying to get too big too fast. And
no, I can dig it. I've dealt with scaling back myself because I'm a visionary myself.
Yes, you are a visionary, SJ.
How did Rat in the Kitchen come about? Did they just end up? How did all that happen?
So, it's one of those things. Bucket list. I'm not gonna call it a bucket list because it's not one thing I would just want to do once. I would love to go on another food competition and show and work my magic and do what I can do. And I'm competitive, John Nave's daughter.
and Ambroja, if you would, for the people, even let them know what Rat in the Kitchen is.
So yes, absolutely. So Rat in the Kitchen will be premiering March 31st on TBS.
March 31st, fools.
Yes, March 31st. It'll be on Thursdays, 8 Central Standard Time. It is a food cooking competition that is a whodunit.
Who done it?
Yeah, who done it?
Who did it?
Like a mystery
Was
style.
It you?
Yeah. So someone in the kitchen is the rat. Someone in the kitchen is the rat. But they have to go unnoticed, right? So yeah, so that's what it is.
Well, I saw on the preview you said somebody was doing something to your sauce. What happened to the sauce?
I will have to let you guys see what happens with the sauce. But I will say this. It's crazy. It's mayhem. Like, you don't know what to expect at all. You have all these ideas in your head of what you think it's going to be, and then it's nothing like it at all. And so when you're in those moments, I'm looking at people and they're looking at me, and they might need to look at me, or I might need to look at them. It's a lot of questioning going on. And at first we were just, everyone, we didn't get to meet at all. I will say that we didn't know no one knew anyone there. And that's interesting too. You don't get a feel for what's going on and people's personalities until you're in the midst of it. So
yeah, no. So
it's really a whodunit type of situation.
So Ambroja, at this point, you could be the rat in the kitchen, right? That's a possibility.
You will have to see March 31st, TBS, 8 o'clock. And I will say, I don't know at this point which episode I'm on. I believe I'm okay to say that. So I can say that, but if I'm not on the first one, I still am going to encourage everyone to watch all of them, because everyone is going to be exciting and different and completely a mystery. You're not going to be able to pick it up.
No, it's amazing. I mean, just whenever somebody's on a major publication like that just happens to be from the town, I mean, that's very inspiring to so many different people.
Yes. People have different dreams, and I was one of those people who watched Food Network, and the Discovery Channel always had some really good food shows. And I always could envision myself in front of people cooking for people, or discussing food and just talking about the history of people's food and their family, and where their food came from, and what are their family favorite dishes, and how do you make yours? Because I've made mine this way. And I like those conversations, and I feel like a lot of history can come from those conversations.
Yeah,
right?
I can tell you how I make my ramen noodles. I mean, I drop an egg in them. You know what I'm saying? But it's toward the end when the water's bubbling. There's some different things. You know what I'm saying? But I can't give that out.
Do you put Doritos in your ramen noodles too?
No, I don't put Doritos in them.
You know what I'm saying? Get a little concerned.
I can't let everybody know everything, but I'm telling you, it do be fire. Now let me ask you this: What does a typical day look for Soul Fire Food?
There is no typical day for Soul Fire Food. So Tim. Shout out to Tim. He runs the day-to-day operations when it comes to the storefront. When we opened the storefront, just to bring it back around, when we opened the storefront June 2021, and that was a decision that I had to get a little convinced on, and it was probably the best decision we could have made when it comes to our business and our brand, and growing and wanting to grow it the way that we want to grow it. And so that said, Tim again, this is his day to day. So he runs the operations of the business. We have established some very good processes and procedures. Again, I work for the VA, and I am an analyst by nature and trade. Okay. So I'm very process oriented, And so when we dove in this business, I was just like, no, we're gonna have standard operating procedures for this, and this, including the way the boxes are made. And I mean, to the point where we have pictures on the walls of our boxes and the way that our employees should be making them. And then we have really good employees too. So, and that helps. But the typical day is Mondays and Tuesdays are prep and planning days. Tuesdays he starts his cook, so he's rubbing his meats and he's doing all of that. And our staff comes in and they start prepping all of our recipes for the week. Tim does one cook. That's it. He does not like for each day. He does not like holding meat overnight. Any meat that's held overnight, that's what you get in our baked beans. I don't know if you've had our beans yet.
You know,
but
I
our
don't think I
beans
have.
are fire. People sleep on them.
I've been stuck on the cheesy potatoes.
I know. I'm not going to discount the cheesy potatoes.
I'm just going to have to add in the beans next.
The cheesy potatoes were created out of a need of just, let's use what we have in the house, right? That's how that recipe came about, straight up. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very resourceful. But those beans, though, listen. Those beans are something special, and they're probably the most slept on side at Soulfire. I will say that.
Wake up to them. I'll wake up to some beans, baby.
There's some people that come in specifically for the beans, and it's right. And Tim does not eat beans, which is hilarious.
They're good for your heart.
He's working on it. I'm working on him. But he came home, and I don't know if it was just one of those things you haven't eaten all day, you've been working all day and you're hungry. He came home and he was like, I just ate a whole bowl of beans, and I don't know why I haven't been eating beans. He was like, so that was really funny. They're really good. And what else? I lost my train of thought. What were we?
Man, we were talking about the beans.
The beans are good.
Because you said about the meat.
All the meat. Yes, thank you. His cook.
The beans.
Thank you. Quality. It goes back to quality. So yeah, his quality is in his cook, and that is part of the reason why I believe our brand is successful. Because when it comes to customer service and our food, we're sticklers.
No, I'm gonna bring it back to this because we're a creative company and things of that nature. I first heard about you in the 90s, the late 90s, because you used to sing, right? You used to.
I dabbled. Yes, I did. I did, and I think if as an older woman, if I had the confidence that I have now, as a younger woman, things may have been a little different in those areas because I had a nice little voice at that time. It's a little lower nowadays. But
well, I know it runs in the family.
Yeah.
Like Ahmad, I mean.
Oh, yes.
He do his thing and everything like that. And it sounds like creativity and innovation is wrapped all up.
It is.
In the Soulfire food.
It is, absolutely.
And us wrapping up here today. What's next for Soulfire food?
What's next for Soulfire food? What's next for Soulfire food is number one, our number one project that we're working on is the community garden. Spoiler alert. Some people already know the vision that I've had, and that's okay. But I really want to kind of circle the business back into the community when it comes to our investment, whether that be teaching or just offering a space for gardening and just allowing the kids in the community. I really want to work with Highland Park, and I've been in the talks. Oh, keep hitting this mic, sorry. I've been in the talks with them to do so. We had to put it on the back burner last year, but for me, that's what's next, is really working toward getting some things built around community garden and talking about how we can grow our food and use our food in unique ways, how we can turn our food into money with entrepreneurship. For me, we got to bring back some of those old school techniques, canning. Yeah. We have some women my age and a little younger learning the crocheting thing, and that's kind of getting into fashion, which I think is really cool. And for me, now I kind of want to get into canning. We just recently, Tim made some new pickles.
Okay.
It's called Fire and Ice.
We were just talking about
come come by the shop, ask to taste them. You know, we'll give you a free taste test of the fire and ice pickles.
Now, is it unlimited pickles if I go there and I'm like, hey, I want more
SJ,
pickles?
Now, you know, we have business now.
Okay. Well, somebody earlier
But
was
we got
telling
you,
me
though.
I could put as many pickles as I want on a sandwich. But I think that means if you buy the pickles.
Buy the
ahead of
sandwich,
time,
we'll negotiate
and
the
then-
pickles, SJ.
Okay. I can run with that. I can run with that.
So no, seriously though, come on in. You know, anyone can come in and taste the. If my mom's there, they could probably taste anything. But you know, but come on in the fire ice pickles. I just did some Mexican pickled vegetables.
Okay.
And even though I'm not Hispanic, I have a love for Hispanic food and love to learn. And so I just did my own canning of that, and they turned out delicious. So who knows what's next? We're going to be doing a lot of the fresh food, trying to market ourselves in some of our specialty things. Tim's Rub is going to be coming out, that's for sure. And like I said, the pickles, we're getting ready to sell the pickles, and maybe the pickled vegetables or get out there. So we have a lot going on. The catering's growing, the business is steady, and that's what we want. And so Soul Fire Food's just gonna keep getting bigger.
Now, Ambroja, how would people connect with you through social media? What would they go to?
Social media, you can find us at Soul Fire Food on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat. It's a secret. Some people who have access to our Snapchat, it's a little fun.
I'll make sure that I
we do
subscribe.
some fun things. We allow our employees to have fun on the Snapchat. So
we like Snapchat.
You know, we like it is, but it's all Soul Fire Food. I have my page is public with Facebook. If for any inquiries about catering, I'm your lady. So you'll want to reach out to me. You can always reach me through Soul Fire Food. You can check out our website, www.soulfirefood.com.
And what's the address to your location?
Yes, 2511 Southeast California Avenue.
East Side.
East Side, right across from Dollar General, where we used to park, and Highland Park High School.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been another episode of Pathways and Means. So glad to have you on today, Ambroja.
Thank you.
If you haven't had the Soul Fire food, it's so fire. You need
It's
to
so
get it.
fire.
You need to get with it. So, and look for her on TBS. You know, it's coming out. Rat in the Kitchen.
Rat in the Kitchen.
March 31st. We will make sure that when we do post this, we'll post a link and things like that, so they'll be able to see that. Thank you for being here with us today. We will see you guys
Such a fun time.
soon.
Thanks.
Boom.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you found today's episode informative and inspiring. If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, visit pathwaysmeans.com to check out a ton of additional content from the CPM team. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok, where we post daily content and engage with creators like you. Signing off for Pathways and Means, we'll see you next time.